let's talk about the safety measures in chemistry laboratory and in use of chemicals. Now, in the chemistry lab, we conduct different types of chemical experiments, right? So these chemical experiments actually can be very lethal and dangerous for us, and because these involve acids. So there are, different types of acids, and there are strong acids. Say for example, sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, nitric acid. These acids are very strong, and they are so strong that they can easily melt metals. Okay, and you can see videos of acids melting metals. These are available on YouTube's or Google's. Okay, so you can see them. So if they can melt metals, so can you imagine what it can do to your skin? It can be pretty, very dangerous for your skin. So that's why we should, take safety measures before going to the lab, or during the experiments that we're doing in the lab. So so the thing is, apron is a must. Okay, so apron is a white overcoat type of thing. It's made up of woven type of fabric, and this fabric is not that flammable, or it's flammable, but it can not as flammable as synthetics or georgettes. Not of that. It's cotton based, so it's pretty safe for if you're working around flames, because in the labs we're often working around flames. Okay, working with flames actually. Then safety goggles is a must. And why is that? When you're experimenting with different types of chemicals, when you're taking drops of chemicals, dropping a chemical on a chemical, it might splash, and it might, some drops or some tiniest drops actually might come to your eyes, and it can be it can actually blind you for your lifetime. So you wouldn't want that to happen to you, would you? Right? So in order to prevent that type of uncertain situation, you need safety goggles. Safety goggles is a must when you're flaming something, or when you're burning something, or when you're mixing two reactive metals, or when you're mixing two reactive say for example compounds together. They might create explosions, or they might create tiniest bits of explosions, and if they come into your eyes, or they get into your eyes, they can damage your eyes. So that's why safety goggles are must. Next on, gloves. So gloves are important for your saving your hands, because we basically do everything with our hands, right? And say for example, you're taking sulfuric acid, you're taking a sulfuric acid from here to here, and as unfortunately it can spill on your hand. And if it spills on your hand, then it will burn your hand, because acids are acids are dehydrating agent. What they do is, whenever they get in contact with any of the elements or substances, they immediately absorb the water out of it. Okay, so it can burn your skin, and it can burn. The burn can never be cured, by the way. Acid burns don't cure. Okay, so in order to save your hand, you need to use gloves. Okay, also there are different types of metals. There are radioactive metals which are used in the labs, and if the metals get in contact with your hands, they can be very toxic for your skin as well. Okay, so that's why in order to save your pretty hands, you need to wear gloves. Okay, next on, you can never eat food. Okay, so this is a very big no. When you're entering the lab is full of toxic substances and poisonous substances. You can say lethal substances, chemicals, and all. You would never even want to eat your food, in that place. But even if you're very hungry, don't do it. And it's a very prohibited practice. Don't ever do it. Then obviously cleaning. Okay, when you're doing a chemical reaction, when you're done with the experiment, you must clean your desk, you must clean your surrounding, you must clean the equipment that you have used, which is you have used test tubes, if you have used fluxes, conical fluxes, if you have used Bunsen burner, and if you have used these things, you need to place them according to the way they were before, or you need to clean them. Okay, so cleaning is a must. Okay, also, this guy over here didn't wear a cap, but safety cap is also a must for, for, okay, for labs, because your hair, you wouldn't want your hair to get the, toxic gases, or, toxic fumes which are created through the chemical reactions. They can be pretty, lethal to your hair. Okay, because hair is basically keratin based, it's basically protein based. So that's why if you want to save your hair, then you should wear a hair mask actually. So in the previous slide over here, as you can see that this, they over here, they're not actually wearing a hair mask, but they're covering their whole body, which means that they're working with highly reactive metals. Usually when scientists are working with heavy metals or radioactive metals, they wear something that would protect their whole body, because working with radioactive metals is very dangerous, because radioactive metals decay certain types of particles, certain types of rays, which are very harmful. They decay, or they actually release beta ray, gamma ray, and gamma ray is very dangerous for human body, because it can, penetrate through your bones. So can you imagine how lethal it can be? So, exposure to radioactive rays or radioactive particles is very dangerous, and it can cause, death, and it will, actually first it will deform your body, and then it will, cause you death. So that's very devastating. That's very pathetic, pathetic actually. Okay, so yeah, these are the measures, and see, they're wearing aprons, and they're wearing the gloves, they're wearing the safety goggles. So yeah, you should keep these in your mind when you're working in the lab, because these are the must things that we need to keep in our minds.